Happy Sunday morning, or whatever morning, whatever day, whatever time you're watching this. All I care about is I hope this video finds you happy and healthy. I am so excited to be leading another video with you guys. Again, I cannot believe we are already on video 8 of our Beatitudes series. That is crazy how fast this is flying by. But I really hope you guys are enjoying this series. I'm really enjoying teaching and leading it to you. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get started, and let's have our normal, awesome Sunday school video routine. So nothing has changed between last week and this week. So you know I love to start these videos with all of us standing up together, maybe getting our morning wiggles out, maybe we're stretching a little bit, maybe we're just still trying to wake up from a good night's sleep, but we are moving around, we are getting ready for today. And I know most weeks we have a welcome question for you guys, but today I actually have a little bit more of a welcome activity for y'all to do. So I am wondering how many of you know how to measure your heartbeat, or how many times your heart beats in 1 minute. I'm wondering if any of you have ever had to do that before, whether just for fun or because your parents showed you how to do it or whatever. I'm wondering if you guys know how to find your heartbeat. If you don't worry, I'm about to tell you. So there are 3 main ways you can find your heartbeat, also called your pulse. So that means how many times does your heart beat in 1 minute. So the places on your body that you can feel your heartbeat are your wrist. Sometimes if you hold your wrist a certain way, you can feel your heart beating if you hold your wrist. Sometimes if you just put your hand over your chest, you can kind of feel your heart beating, right? Now another way you can check your pulse is by taking your 2 fingers and placing them on the bottom of your neck. And then you can feel your heart beating through your neck. So I think we should all measure our heartbeats together this morning. So again, see if you can feel your heartbeat either by pressing on your wrist, holding your hands over your heart on your chest, or by putting your fingers on your neck to find your pulse. So we are going to see how many times your heart beats in 1 minute. I'm gonna time us, okay? So pick one of those 3 ways and get ready, and every time you feel your heartbeat, just count. So you'd be like 1, 2, 3, 4, just like that, okay? And then I'm gonna time you and let you know when the minute is up. Okay, so on our marks, get set, go. Let's find our heartbeat. 11, 15. Just count how many times it's beating. Half a minute left. Almost there. Okay, that was 1 minute. So I am wondering, how many times did you guys count your heart beating? Or maybe you lost count, that is okay too. I just wanted to get you guys in the mindset of thinking about your heart and where it is in your body and how it beats. Because today, you guys are going to find out, today in Jesus' Sermon on the Mount, we are going to be talking about our hearts and why our hearts are so important, and why the condition of our hearts is really, really important. But also, just like every other week, before we can hear what Jesus has to say on the mountain today, we have to use our imaginations and climb the mountain first to get there, right? So what are the 4 main ways we have talked about climbing a mountain? I feel like you guys should have the ways memorized by now, but we'll go over them anyway. So the first way that you can climb a mountain, the first way that we can act out climbing a mountain at least, is you just go on a casual hike. So you just march in place, okay? The second way that you can climb a mountain, all right, is some people use ropes to climb a mountain. Some people are super intense and go like for real rock climbing, and they have to use a rope to support themselves. It's a lot. I've never done it. Sounds scary. Some people are into that. So if you are pretending to climb a mountain with a rope, what's a good way we can act out climbing a mountain with a rope, right? We can act like we're pulling ourselves up on that rope. So that's the second way you can pretend to climb a mountain. The third way you can pretend to climb a mountain is some of our friends climb mountains in their wheelchairs. So you can act out climbing a mountain in your wheelchair. So I want you to pretend that you have some wheels and you are just spinning them and you are climbing that mountain. So now the fourth way for us to imagine climbing a mountain is for the really intense rock climbers out there. We pretend that we are actually climbing rocks. So you get your legs and your feet involved, this arm and the opposite leg, this arm and the opposite leg, and then you rock climb up the mountain. So those are the 4 ways that we have talked about and imagined climbing a mountain. If there's a different way that you know to do it or enjoy doing it, you can totally pretend to do it that way. As long as we climb the mountain together and get up there together, that's all I'm worried about. So as always, I want you guys to pick your favorite way to imagine climbing a mountain. I'm going to count to 20 and we're going to climb a mountain together. So today, I'll be honest with you guys, I'm pretty tired today. I'm thinking a casual hike up a mountain, marching in place might be pretty good. So I'm going to count to 20. I'm going to hike up a mountain. Let's climb, see you guys there, okay? So pick your favorite way to climb and we are going to start in 1, 2, 3, let's climb. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. As always, you guys are rock stars. Use your imaginations to climb that mountain. So now we can use our imaginations to pretend we are at the top of the mountain, and we can use our pretend binoculars to look at all the things we can see from the top of the mountain. You can probably see the tops of people's houses. You could probably see the sea or ocean over there. You can see all this land, maybe some super tiny looking animals out there. Think of all the things you could see from the top of a mountain, and while you're doing that, I invite you to start calming your body, start putting on your listening ears, and we are going to continue with today's lesson. Okay, so now we are calm. We are hopefully putting on our very best listening ears. I know you guys can do it. Again, I know I'm leading this lesson outside because it's such a beautiful, just perfect day and I really want to be outside. So that means you might hear a little background noise, you might hear some birds, some cars driving by, but remember, if you're putting on your very best listening ears, that shouldn't be a problem and we should still have a great video together. So remember, right now, as always, we are using our imaginations. We are picturing that we are on the very tippy top of a mountain and we are looking at Jesus and waiting to hear and see the next thing he has to say in his Sermon on the Mount and the next beatitude that he is going to give us. So remember that there was a huge crowd of people following Jesus because he was seeing their hurts and their pains and he was caring for people in so many different ways. So a bunch of people wanted to follow him to this mountain and hear what he has to say, and that includes us. So I am so excited to jump in and tell you guys the next beatitude. So remember, we're sitting on the top of a mountain, and back then when Jesus was on earth, mountains were considered, remember we've talked about this every week, mountains were considered really special and holy places. Maybe because people felt like they were closer to the sky, so maybe they felt like they were closer to God. But mountains were really special places. So it's kind of cool that Jesus chose a mountain to give this sermon. And Jesus told people while he was here all about God's kingdom. And he used this Sermon on the Mount to really explain what God's kingdom looked like. So remember that you can think of a kingdom as the way the world works or the way the world is set up. So Jesus came here because he wanted us to know that in God's kingdom, there is that really fun word that we call abundance, which means more than enough. So Jesus came here to tell us that in God's kingdom, there was more than enough honor, food, money, love, power, resources, everything a child of God could need to thrive. There's more than enough of it for each and every single one of us waiting in heaven. And Jesus came here to tell us all about that. How cool is that? So the next part that Jesus wanted us to know, we can find in Matthew 5:8. So when we read Matthew 5:8, it says, Jesus says, "Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God." So guys, Jesus cares so much about our bodies, about our hearts, and our minds, which means he cares about how we act, how we feel, and how we think. So let's all put a hand on our hearts right now. I invite you, your heart is on the left side of your chest, so put your hand over your heart with me. So in our bodies, our heart is the center of everything. Our beating heart is what's keeping us all alive in this very moment. So the heart is also the center of how we live our lives. So what I mean by that is what we most want, what we most need, what we feel, and what's important to us, we carry that in our hearts. So what we carry in our hearts has a really big impact on the actions we take and the choices that we make. The inside of us, so our heart and the things that we believe in our heart, directs the outside of us. So the choices we make and the actions we do and the things that we do outwardly with our bodies come from what's inside our heart. So the inside of us directs the outside of us, like I just said. And this is why the heart, the inside of us, is so important to Jesus. It's why Jesus says the pure in heart will be blessed. So let's talk about what it means to be pure in heart and how we can get you there and how we can stay there, hopefully. Try to stay there. We're all human. So to be pure in heart is to show love for God, your neighbor, and yourself in how you act, how you speak, and how you think. So here's your big vocab word for this week, our integrity is a really important part of this. So what do I mean by the word integrity? So you are a person of integrity when your outside actions match the person you are on the inside. So integrity means working towards wholeness for yourself and then wanting to create that same kind of wholeness that you feel for the rest of the world. That is what integrity really looks like. So when your heart is pure, you also want wholeness for everyone else. When you live from your integrity and the purity of your heart, you do kind and helpful things because you love God and you love your neighbor and no other reason. You aren't focused on how loving somebody or loving yourself makes you look. You aren't thinking about that, and you aren't worried about what you can get out of it. All that you're focused on is loving God and loving your neighbor because you know that's what you're meant to do. So that can look like a lot of different things. Maybe you empty the dishwasher because you know that's a way to show love to the grown-ups in your life. Or maybe you decide to clean up all your toys or your markers and your art supplies because that makes the house a really nice, safe, loving place for everybody in the family, not just so you can earn an allowance or a special treat or a reward. So purity of heart helps us make outward choices that are based in love and desire for wholeness in ourselves and our world. Guys, we will show compassion, mercy, and love because we know that's what we're created to do and that's who we were created to be. And when we do that, when we live in pureness of heart, and when we do our very best to live our lives with integrity, we will see God. So we see and experience God's presence when we see the fruit of God's Spirit, which means the good things that come from God's Spirit. Just a few of those things are love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Our eyes we'll be open to the ways we see people caring for one another and the ways that we experience being cared for ourselves. And seeing how God is present in our midst gives us the encouragement and the hope that we need to keep going and to keep living and to keep thriving as one of God's children. So that is your lesson for today. That is the main nugget of wisdom I want you guys to get out of today, is to just remember that we were created to love and be loved. And a good way to do that is to live and try to be a person of integrity and a person that is pure in heart. So before we transition to the next part of the video, as always, I want to give you guys a blessing. So a blessing, remember, is just like a gift. So open your hands up like this, get ready to receive your blessing because I'm about to give it. So today's blessing is, may God bless you inside and out, from your heart to your mind to your body. May God bless it all. I want you to take that, put it in your hands. I want you to cup it over your heart because it belongs in your heart, because that blessing was nothing but truth, and truth belongs in our hearts. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's lesson. I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit more about that Sermon on the Mount. So this week's family pages, as always, were sent out. It gives a couple activities for you to do. It gives a couple questions for you to talk about as a family to kind of expand on what we talked about today. It has a coloring page that goes along with today's lesson, which I think is pretty cool. So the questions that are getting sent home this week are, you have 3 big questions. So the first question is, when you think of a pure heart, what do you picture? Your second question is, what do you think are some of the right or pure reasons to show love and compassion? And then the last question is, when have you done something kind or helpful because you just wanted to show kindness, not because there was anything in it for you? And how did that make you feel? So guys, I have loved getting to spend this time with you today. As always, I hate that we can't be together physically, but this small time we get to spend together still means a lot to me, and I just enjoy really leading these lessons for you guys. As always, if you have questions, comments, anything, just need to talk a little more about anything we talked about today, your parents have my number and my email, and please feel free to reach out. I love getting in contact with you guys, so always feel free to look at one of your parents and just say, I want to talk to Miss Felicia today, and we'll make it happen. So I am going to close us in prayer, and then I want you guys to go and have the best day. Okay, so let's pray together, guys. Loving God, you are always real and true in what you do and promise. Please help us live our outward lives from pure inward hearts. We want to think, speak, and act because of our love for you in your world. We want to see your Spirit active and at work and be a part of your team. Amen. So like I said, I hope you guys have the absolute best day. Please contact me with any questions or just to say hi. I love you guys so much. I miss you so much. And I will hopefully see you guys soon. And if nothing else, I'll see you next week for our next Sunday school video. So, like I said, have a great day. I will see you soon.